You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
And the man feels no pressure. I am the man that everyone fears.
You are now entering the vicious circle.
You are facing a fuel-injected suicide machine!
I'm the man. When I walk, the ground shakes. I am the master. I am the ruler of the world. They have been waiting below the surface. Shake the earth beneath the giant. Shake the earth beneath the giant.
Welcome to the vicious circle. Sid, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Good, Rob. How you doing this afternoon or this evening?
Oh, just living the dream. Living the dream, you know?
You need to come up with something new, Rob. Living the dream
I
is getting
do.
old. Okay.
I know. It is. Okay, that's my first order of business tomorrow morning. Think up a new answer.
Really, man. Let's just start off negative today.
That's right. That's a horrible answer, Rob. That's
Now, apologize, Rob.
I'm
You
sorry.
Canadian.
It's just Canadian in us. Yep. Did I say I'm sorry? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Me too. I'm sorry, too. I shouldn't have done that.
That picture of your food today looked
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Now, Rob, I'm telling you, that was a 24-hour bean extravaganza. But that bean came out better than anything I've ever eaten in my life. I won't go into it. But you posted it on Instagram, right?
Yep.
Now, I started cooking those last night. I started soaking them. But what that is, that was a Mexican bean dish. And so what you do, you just do your bacon and garlic and a little olive oil, let it soften, never burn it because then the bean will taste burned itself. So then you, after, letting them soak, put them in. Now, the key to this was using chicken stock instead of water. And that's what made it so creamy. So you don't chop up the garlic either. You leave the cloves whole, and they become real soft and buttery too. But then, so then you make up that concoction of just like a sauce or what do they call it? Pinto de gallo, sort of like that. But what it is, you cook it down a little bit, about halfway. And then at the very end, you add that to the beans, and it gives it the tomato, the jalapeno, the onion, whatever you put in that, serrantos. Now, what I added to it, because it's supposed to be a meatless bean deal, I took that pork tenderloin that I cooked on the grill. Mistake was, one, I overcooked a little bit. I didn't need to do that. Still, there were a couple things I need to add differently. I need to add more of that mixture of the tomatoes and stuff. And then don't let the beans get too soft. But man, what a dish, dude. And the ribs, I cooked those ribs and chicken for like 4.5, 5 hours. I'm not a big
Nice.
rib person, but man, those ribs, literally, the bones just came falling off.
That's awesome.
It was, dude.
TJ, he keeps messaging in. I see him all the time. We've never had a chance to get him up. He said, "How are you guys doing?"
Good, TJ. How are you doing tonight?
Well, and that's good because he had an answer, which I think I might steal next time. That's good. I'm good. Still alive and kicking.
Still alive and kicking. Well, I'm going to use one at the end of the show today. Since you're stealing stuff, I'm going to steal something too. Now, what we were doing right there, looking at TJ's message, Bashful Bob on the station I love listening to, he would say, "Hey, Sid, I'm reading an electric letter to you. So I want you from now on to refer that to me like that."
That's right.
Because then I'll get a chuckle. Or I'll refer to you like that. I'll say, Rob, you just read me an electric letter from Ty. Whoever that guy was, Ty.
TJ.
TJ, yeah, TJ.
Yeah.
But no, now what Bob would use too is like at the end, he'd go, "Be back next week if God willing and the creek don't rise." So there's you one. Okay.
I might steal that one too.
If God's willing and the creek don't rise.
There we go.
You can use that in a movie, Madhouse. You act like
Yes.
you came up with that too. I'm
Y'all
sure.
think I'm brilliant.
I know, right? They'll say, "I heard Bashful Bob say that, you jerk."
See, they might too, because I talk about Weevil on there too. So
Right.
people might listen to that.
I'm gonna tell you, man. It's been this past week. They have to raise money because they don't have commercials, and
Mhm.
so when they're raising money, man, they play the best stuff. It's just been great this past week for music.
Awesome. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but starting tomorrow I should.
Good deal.
Now, we're just going to touch on WrestleMania 11 real quick, and then I know
right.
there's questions coming in already too.
Okay.
That WrestleMania, you weren't physically involved other than, the ref. What was it like being in a WrestleMania where really all you had to do was stand there?
You know what? Honestly, Rob, I don't. I look again. I guess I look at it differently. I don't. I mean, I guess you. Some people say, "I wish I was in the match." Um, that was what I was asked to do that night. It was. That's what. I was just. Again, that's why I looked at the business and still do. Is that's what I was asked that night. It was nice that I was involved in the main event. This was the downside to it. Was a very small venue, and I don't think it was sold out. And that's unlike a WrestleMania. Again, that's when business was really tough.
Yeah, because that one has been categorized. When I kept looking it up, that event has been called both the worst WrestleMania of all time and the event that saved the WWF. And so I got looking at it. What it was, there was John Powell from Slam Wrestling said that the event was the worst WrestleMania of all time. His specific concerns mentioned the review of Diesel's championship reign and the WWF allowing a football player to defeat a wrestler. Okay.
No, that wasn't the same WrestleMania.
No, it was actually.
No, Rob, the WrestleMania at New Haven, Connecticut.
Was it?
Yeah, that's the one that Sean worked with Kevin. Then that's when Sean turned on Sean. We had our disagreement at Monday Night Raw the next night because that's when Arkansas won the national championship.
Mhm.
And so I want to say, Bam Bam Bigelow worked with Lawrence Taylor at the Madison Square Garden main event at WrestleMania. So it couldn't be the same WrestleMania.
Let me just check. I'm just going to pull up the card real quick
Hmm
because now I'm having doubts.
Well, I wasn't. I remember watching the match in the back, and we weren't. It wasn't in the back where they had the show being shown when Bigelow worked with Taylor.
It was that event. There was two main events. There was Sean against Diesel with you, and then the final bout of the event was between Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor. Bigelow was accompanied by the members of DiBiase's $1 Million Corporation.
Oh man!
But see, I'm not surprised because, like you said, you remember by venues.
Right. Damn, Rob, I'm confused. I really am. I'm thinking about that. I just remember the match. I don't. I remember watching Bam Bam Bigelow work with Taylor, and we were all in like a lobby or it's like a convention where they'd have. It wasn't. We weren't at the show.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll
we
dig
were
into
at.
this more.
Huh?
I'll dig into this more. See if I can find
I
out.
could. I mean, I could be having a big memory lapse here, but I don't remember. I do remember doing the press conferences and stuff, and for again, I remember meeting Lawrence Taylor. Maybe it was Rob. Maybe I'm just
I'm just checking really quick because the fans they remember that. There we go. Steve said LT versus Bam Bam was the same night as HBK versus Diesel.
okay.
That Okay, yeah, we have 2 people for sure say it. Okay, so it must have been, but like you said, you get in the back.
Yeah, right. I just don't remember it.
But see, it was interesting because Dave Rosenbaum from Pro Wrestling Illustrated said it was the one that saved the WWF because this was the beginning of the Monday Night Wars, the feud with WCW. And Taylor looked like a pro. And the tag team match, the matches on that card, brought back that like that area.
Mm-hmm.
So how did it feel for you that night? Like you said, it was smaller than normal.
Right. Well, evidently, Rob, I wasn't there. I swear, man. I remember that, and I don't remember it. I remember watching Bigelow's match, and maybe we were before that. I just thought there was something else going on. I can't. Again, it's just so long ago.
Well, yeah, and trust me, you get into the back with the locker rooms, and they can blend, they can blur.
Well, again, I just thought maybe it was we had a pay-per-view where it was before the Madison Square Garden, to where Kevin and Sean worked with each other, because I know we had a pay-per-view there because I was standing at ringside and it wasn't at the Madison Square Garden. And I thought I just remember on the Garden having that day off, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, actually, wasn't it Monday? Sean gave you the night off.
Right. It was at Raw.
Yeah. So that basically set up your whole feud, though. That given the night off, how was that brought up to you? Like when they said, okay, we're going to have you do what you do at WrestleMania, but here's Raw.
Well, this is the thing is, I was told, go back to when they brought me in before all this started. When I came into the office, sit down and talk to Vince about what they had in mind, and that was work with Kevin, and then possibly after working with Kevin, work with Sean. So I was assuming the bodyguard thing was going to last longer than it did. But the reason it didn't is because the night that they worked their match, the people chanted my name the whole time. I'm guessing because it was the very next night at Raw after WrestleMania or after that show that we went ahead and did the turn against Sean.
Steve just commented here. He goes, yeah, Lawrence Taylor, Pam Anderson, same show. Sid almost killed HBK the next night on Raw with like 5 power bombs. Laugh out loud.
Right. Now, was this pay-per-view, was it Madison Square Garden, or was this in New Haven, Connecticut?
Let's see where it took place. WrestleMania 11. City, Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford, Connecticut, yeah. Yeah, so it was the same show.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, that whole thing, that set you up for your run that year, didn't it?
Yep.
Because HBK, Diesel, I don't think there was many more. You joined the $1 Million Corporation right after that.
Right.
Okay, we'll get more.
And that really, that whole thing there was to have, they thought, because the whole deal with Arn, they thought with Ted hanging around with it, they thought that he could watch over me, which was ironic because we were watching over Ted, trying to keep him out of bars and stuff, and keep him in his room without chasing all these ugly girls he was chasing.
I'm sure you were there for that.
Right.
Sterling Jimmy says, hey, Sid, curious to know when called you to come to Old School Raw when you beat Heath Slater. And what did the boys in the back think about seeing you then?
It was a really good reception in the back. Everybody was real respectful. A couple of the guys I knew, younger guys, they were, again, said a few things, I won't say what, but just really nice to hear. I had a lot of respect for those guys as well. So it was a good experience all around.
Nice. One person asked, here we go. Steven asked, did you ever wrestle in Chattanooga?
Yeah, we wrestled there quite a bit, especially for, I'm scratching my underarm, for WCW. We did that in Knoxville quite a bit. That was did a lot of TV tapings there. Did it a few times for WWF, but not as often as we did for WCW. Matter of fact, not to cut you off, Robert,
nope.
I did a show there one time as Lord Humongous for Continental. this is when the territory had split up, and I had gone up there for a weekend to work for Ron Fuller on his end of Continental, and was walking to the ring with that hockey mask on. I really couldn't see, and someone grabbed my arm, and when I did, I just slung to the side, and there was this old man with like an eye patch on, holding like a kid, and I hit them both. So when we got back to the back, Bruno was we were riding together, and I'm trying to find Bruno. Of course, I got a hood trying to get my stuff in the bag, and I'm in back of the car, and all the people were getting around me trying to beat me up and kill me. And I'm looking for Bruno. He's not there, so I get in the car and just said, "Man, this is it. I'm leaving." So I take off, and I look back in the rearview mirror, and there's a street light there. I see Bruno in his white suit, his seersucker suit, running after me, and I pulled over. And I was really mad at him too. I was like, "Man, that's it. When we get back, I'm telling Robert, that's it. You got find someone else to manage. You're not gonna leave me out there and endanger my life." That was our first argument, Chattanooga.
And see, that's how you remember a city.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Steve also asked here. Thanks for these. Thanks for these lives, Sid. Like the live shows. As a lifelong fan, I really enjoy this interaction. The death of Road Warrior Animal hit me hard this week. And does Sid have any Road Warrior stories?
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. One I remember seeing them and sort of meeting them for the first time. Eddie had brought me in for a tryout, and I remember checking in at the Howard Johnson there in Atlanta. And it was just I guess I caught him coming in from the gym or something. We were all in this line to get whatever check in or whatever they were doing, whatever I was doing. But I remember seeing him for the first time. Was of course seeing him on TV was something else, and then of course working with him was a heck of an experience. And then I remember one time, of course, I get asked this question quite a bit. They asked me to take that in WWF. They wanted me to take that clothesline off the top, and I said no, no way, I'm not taking that. And so they thought it was funny, but I wouldn't go break my neck for something like that. But I did see, I saw that he had passed away, and this is the one thing I'll say about that. Not try to be negative or anything like that, but Joe had done that show, Dark Side of the Ring, like so many other people are getting on that show. And what they're getting on there for, there can't be a great deal of money to be made on that show. To throw people, either your friends or not your friends, or they're people in the business, like them or not, there should be some type of respect for them. There have been a few people in these shows, I think, had the right thought in mind when they did them. A few people shed tears. I saw the one for the Cocaine Cowboy. That was the funniest one. But Joe got on there and he sort of threw Mike under the bus, in my opinion. And I said this on one of our podcasts. What if you would have asked Mike, would you have liked for us to have done that about you and said that about you on something that big of a platform? We got to remember, guys, Viceland, I like Viceland. It's got some good stuff on it. It's got some stuff that I disagree with too. And this is one of them, when people are taking advantage of people, especially in our industry. That most people I see on there, and I'm not going to start saying names, but they're people that are desperate for that 15 minutes of fame. And you see repeat people on there because they're easy to say, hey, you know what? You come on our show, it's going to give you, people will see you again. I almost know that's what they're doing it for. But again, honestly, I didn't know any stories about Mike until maybe the last years in the business, because I don't want to know the stories. And when I do hear those stories, I act like I didn't hear that story, because I don't want to think those things actually happened. And if I did think it was that big of a deal, I wouldn't have been on TV talking about it. I'd been at his house asking him if I could help him. That's the difference in our society, in this world we live in. But again, karma's a son of a bitch.
Yeah, it can be. No, you're 100% right there.
Right.
Okay, let's see. Steve had one more question. Did you ever wrestle Terry Bam Bam Gordy? My stepdad went to school with him.
No, I don't think I ever did. He's from Chattanooga, or used to be. I remember he had a World's Gym there. We used to work out there all the time. Super nice guy, but a hell of a worker. When he was, in his prime, man, the dude could go. And he tagged up with Steve Williams a lot, so that has to say a lot for what he was in the ring.
I remember him as part of the Freebirds.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yes. Okay, let's see here. Jared
Hey,
says
he peed on my leg one time.
he peed on your. Okay, we'll get to
Yeah,
this
it was.
question in a second.
Yeah,
He peed on your leg.
yeah. You know, the Freebirds were really notorious for like really crazy pranks like that. And of course, I'm already been wrong on one town tonight, but I think we were in Richmond, Virginia, and one of my first times, one of my first road trips, and had gone to the to the hotel bar like everyone went to. I was drinking cranberry juice, and sitting there talking, and he just comes up, starts talking, and next thing I know, my leg gets warm. I look down, and he's peeing on me, and so you know, man, at first I wanted to just like mother, man, I wanted to hit him, but then Danny had said to me, "Sid, he goes, that's a rib," and I didn't know. You know, of course, we found out later that ribs get more serious than that. He said, if you react to it, you'll never, they'll never stop ribbing you. So I didn't say anything. I didn't put it over.
That's probably the best idea.
Right.
Yeah, because yeah, I've heard stories about how severe they can get.
Well, I heard that they get you in the room that you wake up and every one of them are peeing on you. You know, so I didn't want it to get to that.
Yep. Or you reach into your bag and there's something warm in there for you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, here we go. This one was from Jared. Do you think the Memphis territory was ahead of its time? So many greats got their start there. What was it like performing at the Mid-South Coliseum, and did it compare with Madison Square Garden?
I don't say it's ahead of its time because there were some other territories that were doing real well too. Continental was doing real well. Texas, you know, world class was probably the, you know, from what I could see, was definitely the biggest territory because no one had shows like they did at the Cotton Bowl or that stadium they ran in Texas. They just, you know, and when Kerry came to Memphis, he outdrew Lawler. I'm not kidding you, 1,000 to 1. That's how powerful Kerry Von Erich, the Von Erichs were. But it was a good place that people would come through. Um, and everyone came through, you know. But I think they all came through, you know, here, Florida. I know Hogan came through Continental. A lot of people went to Bob Geigel. A lot of people went to World Class. I don't think any. Again, it wasn't ahead of its time, but working the Coliseum was fun, but it wasn't anything close to Madison Square Garden. Not even close.
No.
No.
Well, like you said, they know what they want up there.
Right.
Yes. Chad, this one we've had a lot, but what name did you like more, Sid Justice or Sid Vicious?
Sid Vicious.
Yeah, that one's an easy. Oh, here we go. Eric, did you remember to eat your McRib today?
I actually had 2, Eric. You little jerk. Go to Burger King. They got 2 for $5.
Right? See?
Yeah. You know what? I was just thinking of you today, Eric, and I was thinking good things. I was thinking, man, I hope he's safe out there. Him and Carrie got it. And then I thought, wow, Carrie's such a great woman to put up with a guy like Eric. And then I thought, wow, Eric, yeah, he's a jerk. Yeah, she is a great woman. Whatever. Eric, don't worry about what I'm eating. I've never eaten a McRib my whole entire life. Rob, I want you to put up that screen of food I had today. Never mind. Eric, I'm not going to fold to you, you little jerk.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
You
You can see it on my Instagram.
Yes, it's definitely there.
Right.
Okay,
And my dog's on the diving board too.
that's such a cool picture. That is
Yeah,
such a cool
he
picture.
stays out there like that all the time.
Aaron Anderson asks, Sid, were you happy to wrestle Davey Boy Smith at SummerSlam 96? I was there, a great match and a power bomb.
Yeah, you know, Davey was fun to work with. He was easy. I think Sting was in that match too, right? I'm not sure. I think we had single matches against these guys too. Then we had a tag match, me and Vader against them somewhere. But I really want to think that the whole idea behind things was to put me and Sting together and to put Davey and Vader together. Of course, I've already been wrong once tonight. And I lived my whole life on being correct. You know?
Right.
Right.
Let's see here. We've got Val asking, do you keep in touch with Teddy Long? Used to see you guys at matches in Atlanta. Those were the good old days. You are and still my favorite of all time.
Thank you, Val. No, I hadn't seen Teddy in a long time. Because this business, you know, people come and go, numbers change. But me and Teddy had some good times on the road too. Never forget one time I was dropping him off at an exit. There was a pretty busy exit. There was gas stations and everything. I remember pulling in there, and as soon as we pulled in there, man, it was like helicopters above us, light shining. And I was freaking out. And Teddy was all calm. He goes, "Oh man, this is every night." I went, "What?" But no, we rode together quite a bit, hung out quite a bit. Um, it was a real good friendship back then.
Excellent. This one's from Craig. Was there a feud with you and Vader, master of the power bomb? Do you still talk with Leon?
Well, yeah, only what is the word I'm looking for? Whatever. Yeah, through my mind, he's dead, right? No, no, I saw Leon at the same show at the Raw taping with Keith Slater. I don't think we were going. We were going to have an angle together where when I turned babyface there, but that's the same time all that stuff happened with Arn, and that's when I quit and went back to the WWF. But it would have been a good match. Now we had a lot of great matches in WWF together. And I'm telling you, I've always said this about Leon. He's right there within the top 1 or 2 people that I enjoyed working with as much as anyone. You know,
Yeah, you guys did have some classic matches.
right?
Here's one from Philip. Do you think if wrestling still had territories, we would have better competition and product?
Yeah, you'd have more competition. I don't know if it had, you have more competition and more people to choose from. That would probably, spell to be better competition. I used to back when, God, right before WCW and say in between that and my first run to WWF, when I'd go see some of my friends at some of these independent shows, man, you'd see some talent in some of these shows. You'd go, wow, man, this guy's $1 million. I mean, you just saw him everywhere. But then as time went by, I'd go, you go to an independent show or in between, working with WCW, WWF, I'd do some of those independent shows. And then now you just don't see anything that stands out to you. And I think that probably has a lot to do with the decline of territories. And again, working again, you just see people all the time, and you just don't see them anymore.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, especially in Canada, a place like Canada. When I went to work for, was it Devon? Man, there was just tons of people you never saw. You go, where's this guy been? Or where's this girl been? And Canada's full of it, of prospects. I think it's probably, and I'm guessing it's still a little more alive there than it is here as far as independent stuff.
I know around here, I can think off the top of my head, there's probably 4 independent promotions, between here and just past Toronto. So within a 5-hour range, there's like 4 promotions I can think of.
Right.
So they do love their independent wrestling up here.
Oh, I bet.
Here's a good one from Matthew. Hey, Sid, what was your favorite pre-match meal and how early before your match would you need to eat it?
I never had like a pre-match meal, not just one pre-match meal, because when you're on the road, you're not going to find the same restaurant 2 days in a row for the most part. But it'd always be something solid, for the most part. And then it'd be hours out too. If you get to a show, say if the show's at say 8:00, you got to be there at 7, and I might go on at say 9:30. So 2.5 hours. So I might not eat till from say 5:00 that day, and try to watch when I'm drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't imagine you'd want to have a full stomach.
Now, sometimes, like in a perfect world, if I was able to get to a place that day, I might, say just say as soon as I got to the building, I would have maybe just a small hand of apricots or a small hand of raisins or something like that. One, to give myself just a little energy, and believe it or not, two, just to give myself just a little pump, and with those sugars, make your veins come out a little bit. But I'd have something I always kept a box of raisins or something like that, or an apple, in my bag.
That's a good idea. I love apples, man. I could eat them forever. Here we go. One from Jared again. Did you and Randy Savage have a good relationship? I know he could be very difficult.
Not with me. Everything I was ever involved with Randy was a day off. So no, it was never a struggle.
And here's one from Greg. Sid, what was your favorite feud you were involved in? Storyline, angle, and payoff. Like, what was your favorite angle like that?
I'll be honest with you. One of the this is just a different answer. I've answered that the same so many times. One would be when I was Lord Humongous in Continental, and I'll tell you why. When I came in to Continental as Lord Humongous, I remember Robert Fuller saying, "In 1 year from now, we're going to turn you babyface, and you're going to really get over." And they'd done that to that character several times. I didn't really know that at the time. Anyway, so we did that. He got it started. He left. Eddie came in, kept it going. And that 1 year, I could see the results of doing something right for at least 1 year, and that's protect the character. Don't everything it takes. And I'm not going to go into everything, but one is protect the character, keep him over. And Scott Hall can testify to this. He came and worked with me one time in Columbus, Mississippi. And first time I ever came off my feet, and the place went crazy. So when you do things right and say everything right, you will get some good success out of it. Saying that, we did the same thing in Memphis, not identical, but where I came back as Lord Humongous after losing a loser-leave town to go to Japan. Now we did that within 2 months, and it fell on its face. So, have been a part of something early in my career that was successful. Told me if you just give something just a little time, that you got a chance of being successful. And Memphis was known for hot shotting. Just within 2 weeks, the guy had already been babyface and heel 4 or 5 times. And that just doesn't. Then you're just going through the motion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not building a character.
Right.
Gotcha.
You'll be honest with you guys. When I turned babyface as Lord Humongous, it was like being Elvis. I mean, I couldn't get to my car. The people were going crazy. It was cool being a babyface for the first time. And I was selling my pictures, man. I was making 3-4 times when I was on picture sales, and I was making on my payoff.
That's got to be the only drawback to a heel is your merch doesn't go out very fast.
No, man. When I was a heel, I might sell one little 4 by whatever they were, just enough to get like $3 to get Diet Sprite and a friggin' pack of crackers or something. And if I sold 2 pictures, that would give me my part of gas that night. So, but again, that's what you were going for.
Diet Sprite, did you say?
I got some in there too.
And I just realized that's not diet.
That's not diet. It's green.
No, son of a gun. I drank a regular pop. Oh, well. That explains why I'm hyped up. One more good question here. Corey's got an interesting one. How many bones have you broken?
Wow. I don't know. Let's see. I broke my left wrist twice. I broke my neck twice. I broke my tibia and fibula. That's 2 breaks. That's 6 breaks. Broke my back once. Broke my foot once. Broke my hand once. That's about it.
That's still quite a lot.
Well, they had to break my ribs to go in and cut my lung and sew it back up. So there was a few rib bones there.
Oh, yeah. I guess they would, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, that was the most painful thing about that.
Yeah,
man, you're talking about pain, dude.
Yeah, there's no easy access to that.
No.
Okay, one last good one here. Craig Zinn wants to know, what was your max incline bench and regular? And did you ever work out with Hawk and Animal?
I did work out with Hawk and Animal once. I remember working with Animal. Animal in Boston. I think we did 1 or 2 exercises together, but we were in the gym together all the time. And both of those guys were extremely strong in incline. I think for myself, that wasn't one of my good lists. I think the most I ever got was around 385 for a couple, but I've seen those guys, do 405 for reps, But again, they're a little shorter than I am too.
They are. What I think they're 6'1".
Yeah, it's 5'9".
Fuck that.
Joe was.
Okay, here's a good question that will lead us into our next topic. Sid Vicious, what is your take on President trying to nominate a Supreme Court justice so close to the election?
This is the thing is, I wish we could do a show every night because there's so many questions come up about this presidency, the protests and everything that there's just not enough time in one night to talk about all this. But this is what I really feel about him doing that. If it's, and again, we're going to have to just hope that some of what both sides are saying is true. if that's the case, then both sides have tried this and both sides have done this over time, right? So this is the way I look at it, man. If you can do that and you can do it legally, and it seems like that's what the case is, then you do it. If what it looks like to me is that when Obama tried it, the Republicans tried the same thing, and the Democrats fell for it. Now I think the only difference was there was like less days left, or
There
was it the other?
more.
Okay, was more. Okay, again, but you can see that one guy, where his name is, the one that's in charge of the Republicans. You can see when he was doing that, like it's going to take a vote. You can tell by his look on his face. You knew he did that when he said 4 years ago that they wouldn't do that. You knew he was lying. So, but again, guys, that's what politics are. Unfortunately, they go back on things and then they'll say, "No, I didn't say that." So, no, if you can do it, I say then do it. If that's what you're trying to do, and that's what both sides will try to do in a case like this. Try to stack that the Supreme Court with either Republicans or Democrats. Again, I think if it's something I would have done too.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Mitch McConnell. Matthew.
Mitch McConnell, yeah. That guy is just sneaky as I don't know. That don't look on his face, but no, that's politics, man. I'd do the same thing. I'd be more honest about it. I go, no, that's what I'm doing. I think that's what Trump has done too. He hasn't apologized for it. That's what a business person would do in a case like that. Okay, hey, here's me. This is a chance for us to build our party, and that's what I think politics. What I've learned, unfortunately, in the last 6 months about politics, man. Sometimes with this whole presidency thing, some days I'm thinking, man, I got to give Maggie $50 on this bet, because Trump might win this deal. And then, sometimes, and then Trump will do something. I go, no, my $50 is pretty safe right now.
Yep.
But then again, Joe Biden does something, or in his case, not do anything at all. And I go, wow, man, I might have to give up $50, But then I see things that we were talking about like last week, Black Lives Matter, which, and then again, just all this stuff. And I don't want to go into all of it, but all the crazy stuff on both sides. This makes me think, it confuses me. It's like, I don't want to see that either. And I'll tell you this week, and I can't remember everything I saw, but I've seen people like Charles Barkley, and I saw this, I didn't hear this. He was, him and Charles, I guess Shaquille O'Neal both came out and talked, hey, to stop this or whatever. And they got a lot of backlash from it. It's affecting everyone. I told a story last week about a lady and her husband. The lady had said something unkind to a little girl of color, and I said last week a little colored girl, and I want to correct that. Let's see if this is a better way of saying things. That a little girl of color. Well, like I said earlier about karma is sometimes the son of a gun, and it is in this case as well. Where that lady in question that offended that little girl is her husband has had 2 affairs on her she's caught him with, and both of them has been a lady of color. So sometimes that sort of comes back and gets you. And but that's no reason to hold that against someone else. Now, that lady was already going to say the thing she said. If that would have happened for her husband had 15 affairs or no affairs, she's going to be like that.
Yeah.
But what I was getting to about that story with her is that I want everyone. I'm not going to just, if I want people to say not what I want them to say, but I'd like for everyone again to be able to say Black Lives Matter. Again, what I was saying last week with this movement, and I'm not the only one saying this. A lot of people are saying this, where it's really hard to push that message anymore. But I did see a couple people this week, and most of them were uh, people of color. And the last couple of people I saw were guys of color. I can't remember their names, but they said this is that I can't remember exactly, but it was like um, they were a little upset with Black Lives Matter too. But we can't ever forget what our vision is, and that's to be able to say that every black life does matter. You might not agree with Black Lives Matters movement, but we have got to always say that everyone lives matter. And right now, what this topic is black life. Is the black life is the matter right here. So we've got to be able to say that. And I got off last week without being able to say something like that. So I want to clear that up. That even though I'm against the movement, I am definitely for still the same thing, and let's give everyone an equal chance. Again, I don't like bullies, but again, so that's where. But again, what I think with these protests, and they always go back to Black Lives Matter. There were some cool protests that went on this week, Rob. I told you about. It actually calmed down a little bit in Louisville and other places. Now, for me, I remember protesting. I look at it sort of like funny that these people are protesting. I wish I could protest, say, climate change, but I don't have the time. I'm not going to go out there. I don't think my voice matters. Other people are louder than me doing this. But I like watching it sometimes. And I actually chuckle at it. So I'm gonna go to a story about where they were making a big deal about these people pulling all the stuff out of the U-Haul, and it looked well organized. Well, I say like this: they showed a picture of the lady that was in charge of that. You know what? I say this is the thing is that's organized, and that's a protest, and that she's not shooting anyone. And if you're mad because she's organized, and you're not, then you just got to live with that. And what I'm saying is this: when you see that stuff coming out of that U-Haul, you see it in all pictures of all the protesting over all the news stations. So she's there, she's got her stuff, and she's getting seen. All right, but this is what I'll chuckle at. So when I see later on other pictures, I see about 12 of the people that were in that U-Haul, and they're all overweight. And I'm not trying to be mean here, but they're all overweight, got bad hair, and they're all handcuffed, and they're all going to jail. But that's what they went there for. There's a lot of people that just go there for the peaceful protesting to go to jail, and I think they should be able to get out. Not if you're looting. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Who wants? No, nobody wants to be in jail for being overweight and carrying a sign. There's nothing against that. So it's fun to see some of that. And then saw a little bit of peaceful protesting in New York. I think it was Friday or Saturday night, where it's again sort of funny. They stopped all the traffic on one of those bridges. Again, they weren't shooting anyone. They weren't throwing anyone off the bridge. It was again, unless, like I told you a story the first time I got acquainted to Black Lives Matters, when I got stuck on a bridge like that. So it's sort of fun to see someone else stuck like that. But there was some peaceful protesting. We do know that most of this protesting is the larger numbers are peaceful people, and the people who are doing bad things are, I think they say 10, 15%, no higher than that. But the numbers of bad things happening are high, so.
Well,
But those people, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, you and I have both talked, and it's sadly it's the 1 to 2% that kind of dictate how the rest of us are treated.
Right. Well, you notice too, and I was going to tell you this, Rob, because I like sort of pointing things out. I think it's going to happen in the future. Was I had a feeling that once they came out, well, with the verdict of the 3 officers in Louisville, that the protesters would scale back, and they did. And I think the main reason was this: is the family got their money earlier in the week. Like, okay, we got our money. Now I'm hoping, not that it's my business, but I hope they'll take some of that money and do some things with it, and not waste it. But this is the thing on that, guys. And Rob, I told you this. Remember this when it first happened? I said, I don't know. what the law is about police, but they have, they are protected in these situations like this. That's why they take, they get shot themselves all the time. Just like the 2 officers in Louisville got shot, Rob. I told you, I said, unfortunately, I feel bad for those guys, but that's what they signed up for. And
Yeah.
so if we can overlook that, we have to not overlook it, but we have to accept it. So we have to accept the other bad things that happen in our world too. Now, what happened in there was this. It's real simple. I told you, Rob, the evidence showed that they were at the door. Now, and at the time, the no knock warrants were still, you could still do them. But what they found out was this: it wasn't that they did knock. Okay, when they opened the door, the guy and girl standing in the hallway, and they shoot the cop first. Okay, so you cannot put 3 people in jail for a situation like that. Now, Rob, I've told you and other people too that when I took my handgun permit class, the one thing they taught me there was even if you shoot someone in self-defense or if you're in the right, you're still going to be sued and there's a chance you go to jail and all these other things. But usually you're going to come out if everything's square. If you do everything correct, you're going to be okay. So again here, and I want to stress horrible it was for that poor girl. But this what the deal was. There was a guy living there. One of her old boyfriends, he wasn't living there anymore. Okay, so they didn't have the wrong apartment, or it was a new boyfriend. Now he's got a gun. Now, of course, the attorney for the Breonna Taylor's family says that that the boyfriend says they didn't knock. Well, I'm going to say that too, right? I'm not going to say as a boyfriend, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, that I shot them 10. You know what I mean? That's just not how it works. No one tells the truth for the most part, Rob. So that's what the story is. Until they can change that story, nothing can get done.
Well, see, the one thing, and we talked about it too. I don't know how many times people will knock at my neighbor's door. I don't know because I don't pay attention.
Right.
If they start shooting, I'm going to hear that.
Right.
So they may have knocked and nobody was just even listening to the knock.
Right.
But again,
and this is something too. When those things happen like that, and they showed some of the footage when the officer got shot. So you can imagine all the chaos that was going on with the people in the other apartments, the people seeing the poor girl get shot, the guy, the boyfriend who shot the cops, they're probably giving him a hard time. It's just total craziness, right?
Mhm.
So again, the prosecutor, the attorney general from Kentucky, I can't remember how to put it, but he said, man, no matter what comes of this, it's never going to be a good story.
No.
Even if we could all understand that these cops were just doing their job, and if we could all say, look at it like that, still the tragedy, and when you have tragedies in a situation like this, it always outweighs all the other things. And I could easily understand, like if this was my sister or something like that, I would be a wall there that it'd probably take me a while to understand that this was not their fault. I would still be mad because this is my sister or my daughter or my mother or my girlfriend. So again, I'd have that anger. It'd be a long time before I could come to grips with what really happened. And I'm sure the people that are upset about this, when you see them, you can see the not just the anger, but the confusion in their faces. Like when they're saying, it's like, I just don't understand. They usually say the same thing. I just don't understand how you could kill someone and get away with it. Well, I'm like that too. I don't either. I can't understand it either, other than, I guess I'm a person that can look at facts and go, unfortunately, that's the way it weighs out. I hate that it weighs like that for sure. But the people of Louisville are doing much better. The protesting, I think, is getting a little bit better. Again, I don't care if they protest till the cows come home. Just don't burn anything. Don't shoot anything. Don't take over cities. Don't knock on my door unless you got something to give me, like a bag of beans,
Yeah.
something like that.
Something for you to cook.
Somebody can make some bean soup with it.
Steve mentioned here, Tito Ortiz had a good Save Our Children protest in California. See,
Really?
I didn't even hear about that.
I didn't either. That's something too, guys. We're talking about this protesting and stuff like that. Our world right now, the world, not just the United States, But Asia, Africa, you're talking about kids, man. They're at the blunt of this coronavirus. Um, and that you can say that this is a hoax or whatever, but the starvation that these kids are going in the lines for these people to get food and stuff like that, that's not a hoax. The food supplies or something's messed up. We don't know. I'm not a dairy farmer or a pig farmer, or I used to do a row crop, but that was soybeans and crap like that, nothing you put on your plate. But I don't understand what's going on, but things are crazy. They're still not, the shelves still aren't full at Walmart. I was just there today, getting stuff. Um, I don't know, man, but the the repercussions and the downfall of this COVID-19 is real. Now I know the virus is real too, and people around the world, we're all suffering from the same thing. Everyone too. Meaning there's protests everywhere. They're talking about protesting right now over in UK because they're talking about possibly doing another lockdown. Now, I want to share some information I saw the other morning. I told Rob about, the WHO, the World Health Organization. I saw one of the doctors for that the other morning. I think it was Saturday morning. They were saying this, everyone, that um, like they're doing in Sweden. They used it for an example. They're not they're not stopping their lives. Their lives are going on. But they're doing everything that you're supposed to do: social distance, wear a mask, sanitize, and stuff like that. And I can't remember how he said it, but it was on CNN too, and the CNN lady was doing the segment agreed with him. So Rob, like I told you 4 or 5 months ago, this herd immunity is going to be something we're going to be experiencing.
Oh,
Um,
it's eventually going to happen. You're
it's
100.
happening. It's not going to. It is. Because we got people who aren't going to take the vaccine. We got people that aren't going to social distance. We got people who won't wear a mask. Um, so it's happening. It's not going to happen. It is happening. So the people that want, like myself, that want to not get this disease are going to just have to do like we've been doing. Rob, is again, you don't have to stop living. You can go anywhere you want to. I'm going and doing I want to. I go to this, and stupid stuff I enjoy, like going for a ride and stopping in the store and getting fruit juice and taking my Bronco ride, or going to the shop and see my buddies and work on my motor or something. I'm not stopped living, but I'm not going to go to restaurants. I don't need to do that right now. I don't need to go to the store every day. I'm going to shop, wiser, and if I get around someone that's not wearing a mask, I'm going to keep my 6 or 10 feet, and I'm not going to be shaking hands, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but again, I want everyone, if you're thinking about it, or you're not sure, go ahead and make that decision and wear a mask. It's that simple. Or just cut back on the things you do. It's actually, a lot of it's saving our planet. Talking about saving the planet, Rob. This is one reason I'm not worried about um, climate change as much. I see a lot of cool things happening right now. Amazon's totally going to be energy free. Electric cars. They're going to have all their plants running off solar energy. I see Walmart's doing the same thing. So a lot of these bigger companies are already making the decisions that are going to be better for our planet. So if Joe Biden or Donald Trump didn't want to do it, the people out there that really got the money and care are going to get it done, I believe.
Yeah, the good ones. You're right.
The good people, you know what I mean? They're already
Yeah.
doing it, and they're not being told to do it, And this way I look at it too. Herd immunity will work just like climate change. If you don't believe in it, and if you don't want to do some of the things that make it better, I'll tell you one of the things I'm doing. This sounds sort of hokey. This past year, I have went through limited spraying in my yard, no fertilizer. I don't want to wash that stuff into the streams. Right now, it's a proven fact that because this COVID-19, if anything's come good of this whole thing, is our pollution around the world is decreased dramatically.
Yeah.
They've seen fish for the first time over, where was it, Rob?
Oh, in Italy.
Italy, yeah. They saw
Venice.
dolphins and stuff. Venice. These satellites can actually see places on Earth now where they couldn't see them before. So we know that's real. And it's not going. It's just too many people. Every time I turn on one of my favorite shows, Alaskan people living off the grid, I mean, they're not getting snow up there anymore. You know, life has changed everywhere. And it's not just here, it's in every country. I saw where Lebanon or somewhere got like 15 inches of snow. They're freaking out over there. So it's not just here, it's everywhere.
Yeah. Remember, I told you we saw a picture of snow in the Sahara, and we thought, well, that had to have been from 100 years ago. And it was 2016.
Right. 2016. Now, you know, something I'm going to talk about too is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I saw her memorial the other day on, I think it's PBS. Then I saw an interview with her that I guess they done years ago with a lady. She talked about her love for opera and stuff like that. What an interesting lady. And also what an attractive lady when she was younger. You know what she reminds me of, Rob? She reminds me of one of my grandmothers, my mother's mother. Real, you know, petite like that, well groomed, real educated. Just a really, really, just again remind me of my grandmother. But this is what I thought of. I had a Jewish person tell me one time, said that Jewish people don't believe in heaven and hell or God, I think, or the devil. And they said when they die, they just die. And what they look at like this is what they want to be able to look back instead of like going to another world or something like that. Way they live on is what they've done here on earth and their memories that they'll have here, and people will remember them. Think about that lady right there, Rob. First lady to be set at state and buried at that famous place that she was, you know, put to rest there. To have lived her life like she did as an underdog. You know, she was overlooked and put aside so many times that she never gave up, and with so much class. So that's what we're in tonight with a salute to Miss Ginsburg, the passing of that we'll say that we'll pray for her family, for all the people around the world that affected them. I've seen where a lot of cool stories where little girls showed up to Washington to pay the respects for her. And this woman really touched a lot of people. And I'll never reach that, but man, that would be a way to go out, wouldn't it, Rob?
Oh, big time. Like her name will be there forever.
Right. Just think if you were that famous on podcasting as she was, what she's done.
Just about.
Just about, right. Well, you got a fan club now.
That is true. That is true. Not like her, though.
No, man. What a great woman. I hate to, again, work till her last days. You can't say enough about her.
No, absolutely. I think you're right. I think that's the best way to end this one.
What a classy memorial too, with all the circumstances of the COVID-19 and stuff. But you know, just everybody did a great job on that memorial.
Absolutely. So yeah, why don't we just give her a moment of silence and we'll end the show. Okay,
everyone. I'd like to tell everybody thanks for tuning in again tonight to the Vicious Circle with me and Ron Bellamy. We're asking everyone to send in questions, topics you want to talk about. If you want to talk about what you think about this protest or what you think about the election or what you think about wrestling. We had, Lori came in and asked about vitamin C, D, and E. Anything. If you got a topic you want to talk about, you want an autographed picture from Rob Bellamy, just let us know. Anything like that. What does that say? Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, Rondell says thanks for doing this.
Okay, Rondell, we appreciate you, buddy. So again, I want everybody to have a great week. Look forward to seeing everyone back next week on Rob,
The Vicious Circle.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Vicious Circle podcast. Your host, Sid Udi. Co-host, Rob Bellamy. Additional research by Pete Marsh. The Vicious Circle podcast is produced by Two Cousin Road Trip Productions, a division of JX3 Media Productions. The intro music is Unleash the Giants by Cemetery Spawn, and the outro music is Digging Space by Mike Trouble.